I'd like to tell you a story about Brenda Sims. Brenda is a tax preparer and has prepared a return for a wealthy client. After submitting the return to her supervisor, Vincent, she was called into his office. Vincent was concerned because the client was upset about some lottery winnings that Brenda had claimed on the return. The client had requested that the lottery winnings be removed, and Vincent was passing along this request to Brenda. Vincent indicated that this was a one-time request, that the firm valued loyalty in their employees, and that other employees in the same situation have done the same thing. In thinking about the alternatives, Brenda had several thoughts. First of all, she thought about herself. She wanted to be seen as a team player. She wanted the opportunity to progress and grow in the firm. She didn't want to lose her job. She felt that Vincent's comment about others being willing to do the same thing was a veiled threat that she would lose her job if she didn't comply. In addition, she figured the return had a small chance of being audited and a small chance of the omission being discovered, and so it might not harm anything anyway. But if she were to think about this further and progress through the steps in Holberg's model, she might think of some other things, like doing this would be committing an act of fraud, violating the law. In addition, it would be violating her professional ethical code of conduct. She could risk criminal prosecution, fines and penalties, and losing the respect of her peers, not to mention all of those things for the firm as well. And she would have to live with her conscience. In thinking about the request by Vincent, his comment was that it would be just this one time. How could Brenda trust him? How could she trust a man who's asking her to do something that was wrong? In addition, he makes another comment that others in the same situation have gone ahead and complied with the request, which means this is not a one-time request. This request has happened more than once and will likely happen again. In trying to determine how to respond, Brenda has decided that she's not going to comply with the request. And in deciding how to respond to the reasons and rationalizations that Vincent will likely have, she's come up with the following. He will likely say this is a one-time event. Brenda needs to respond and say that her reputation is at stake. She has a reputation and she's not willing to compromise her ethics. He may ask her to be loyal to the firm. And I think she should say that she is being loyal to the firm by protecting them from prosecution and penalties and a loss of respect and reputation. Other staff have done it, which is a terrible reason to do something. And finally, that she would be rewarded for following along. I think it's important that Brenda maintain her integrity and say that she would not do that because it would be violating her professional ethics. Her most powerful and persuasive responses to Vincent's rationalizations would be that this is a violation of the law. It is illegal, and there would potentially be criminal prosecution for this. In addition, it violates professional ethical standards. There's a code of conduct that Brenda has committed to abide by. History, based on Vincent's comment, shows that this is not one time and that it is standard practice in this firm. And if Brenda intends to continue to work there, she would need to stand up against this, or she would be expected to comply more than once. And finally, Brenda would just need to say that she does not compromise her integrity for anything or for anyone. Assuming that Brenda decided to follow through with the request, and then a year later, the same thing happened again, and she's now being asked to omit some more gambling winnings from the return. What should she do? First of all, I think that she would have been struggling with her decision for the entire year, and she would not have felt very good about herself. So in order to keep from continuing down this proverbial rabbit hole, she should stop it right there and say, no, I will not do that. And if necessary, leave her firm and terminate her employment. Overall, ethics is about integrity. Without integrity, ethics cannot survive. I think it's very important that integrity is protected at all costs. Thank you.